And welcome back to Football Forecast, and in today's video we'll be going for my Premier League team of the season so far. If you enjoy this, it would be great if you subscribe to the channel as well as liking the video. Starting off with the keeper, and for me there are two major keepers to talk about for this. The first one is Robin Roos at Sunderland. He's been really good for Sunderland this season, been crucial for why they are doing so well in the Premier League. And the other keeper is David Raya. David Raya, as has been the norm with him, just a very solid keeper, very good for Arsenal, and one of the best keepers in the league, if not the world right now. I think this is very close, but I think the key difference is I don't think Robin Roos has made one mistake so far this season. I think there's a couple of mistakes that David Raya, you could argue, has made. So for this reason, I am going to be selecting Robin Roos in the team season. He's also had a lot more to do than Raya. Raya's had not as much to do because of Arsenal having such a good defence. So then we're on to right back, and I think there's a couple of right backs that I think are really worth talking about. The first one is Urian Timber. Been really good for Arsenal so far this season and is part of the best defence in the league in Arsenal, and defensively he's just so solid and barely makes any mistakes. And Reece James, and I mean, if you're looking at a complete footballer, you're looking at someone like Reece James. Reece James has done a brilliant job at right back so far this season, but he's also done a brilliant job in midfield. Wherever you want him to play, he can do the job. That's how good of a footballer Reece James really is. And I think as an all-round player, I think I'd rather have Reece James over Urian Timber. So for that reason, I will be selecting Reece James in the combined 11. If you said Urian Timber, it's pretty hard to argue against that because of how good he has been. But I just think as a complete footballer, I think Reece James is probably the best right back in the world. And for me, a key difference between this year and the previous season is that you can actually select him in the team this season so far because he's actually been match fit. So then we are into the centre halves, and look, there's been some really impressive centre halves so far this season. For me, the standout centre half is probably Gabriel, and he'll be selected in this 11. I know he hasn't been match fit recently, but I think Gabriel has been brilliant when he's been available, and he's been crucial at both ends for Arsenal. I think his partner Saliba's also been really good so far this season. He's the best centre-half partnership in the league, but I do think there's other centre-halves worth talking about. The first one is Sunderland's Nordi Mukiele, been really good so far this season, one of the best signings in the league. Then you've also got Malik Chow at Newcastle United. Chow has been really impressive for Newcastle, despite Newcastle struggling this season. I also think Mickey van der Ven's been really impressive at Spurs so far this season. But for me, the centre-half I'm actually being selecting over Saliba is Matthijs de Ligt. I continue to say this, I think de Ligt is the most underrated player in the league. I think he's absolutely brilliant, de Ligt. And I think he keeps going under the radar. I think people aren't rating de Ligt nearly as high as he should be. I think de Ligt's absolutely brilliant, and I think he deserves to be in the Premier League team this season so far. And when he's not available, you really notice the difference in the defence for Manchester United. Mark Gay, he's also been outstanding at centre-half so far. The season is probably unlucky to miss out. So then we're on to left back, and I think there's three left backs to talk about. The first one is Marc Cucurella. Marc Cucurella has been really good for Chelsea so far this season. The next one is Nico O'Reilly for Manchester City, a breakthrough player of the season for sure. He's been absolutely outstanding from left back so far this season. He's been really good to see actually Nico O'Reilly playing so well. And I think quite a few people were surprised to see Nico O'Reilly be first being picked as the starting left back for a lot of the season so far, but how well he's actually performed there. And the last one is Calafiori. I think Calafiori's been good, but I actually think Cucurella's been better than Calafiori. I just think the consistency of Marc Cucurella is why he has been better than Calafiori. I think Cucurella is absolutely brilliant. Against top wingers, he continues to perform at his absolute best. But the left back I have decided to select is Nico O'Reilly at Manchester City. I think O'Reilly deserves to be in this team. I've been really surprised by how good he's been, and I think he's been absolutely outstanding. And he's just overall just so good. He's good defensively, he's good going forward, and he's been really good, I think, also in the last month. I think that's what tipped him. I think if we did this sort of a month ago, I think it would more be a question around Cucurella or Calafiori, but just how good Nico O'Reilly's been in the last 6 games has actually made me select him over the other two. So starting off with the holding midfielder for this midfield 5, and I've got Granit Xhaka, the best signing of the season. It is a crucial reason why Sunderland are in this position in the league. It's not just ability on the pitch, which is absolutely outstanding. It's his leadership and ability to lead that Sunderland side in such crucial games. The next midfielder I've decided to select is Phil Foden. Phil Foden has been really good for Manchester City so far this season. The first sort of 3 or 4 games he struggled a bit, but since then he's been outstanding, and especially especially recently, where his link up with him, Haaland and Cherki is a key reason why City, I think, are almost starting to become title favourites or looking like a side that can definitely win the league. The other midfielder I've gone with is the other side that is definitely in the title race, and that is Declan Rice for Arsenal. Rice has been brilliant for Arsenal so far this season, and as usual, he's just so consistent and he just does everything you want from a number 8. Then on to the sort of the left middle, then on to the left wing position, I've got Morgan Rogers. Morgan Rogers can operate sort of in the sort of midfield, but he can also definitely operate as a left winger, and he's been outstanding so far this season, has Rogers, and he's a huge reason why Aston Villa are playing so well right now. His finishing is outstanding, and so is his ability to carry the football. So then finally, for the final sort of midfield or sort of winger position, I've got Dominic Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai's played more in the midfield so far this season, but he's also started to play off the right because of Mo Salah's absence. Szoboszlai has been Liverpool's best player by an absolute mile. Look, that's not especially hard so far this season, but he's just so much better than the rest of the Liverpool players. I do think Szoboszlai has gone up a level this season. I think last season he was incredibly underrated. His work rate was unmatched, and there were periods in the season where you're like, this is the Szoboszlai that we've seen this season. But I think his consistency was a bit of a problem last year. He wasn't at his absolute best. But the one thing that you can't argue of Szoboszlai, it's that work rate. No matter what, wherever he plays, he works so hard, and he 100% deserves to be in this team this season. And finally, you can talk about whoever you want for this position. It is obviously going to be Erling Haaland as the striker. Absolutely outstanding for Manchester City so far this season. Leads the Golden Boot race and will 100% probably end the season as the top goal scorer. And right now, he's a crucial reason why City are in this title race. And finally, I'm going to end with the manager, and I think this is a really obvious pick. I'm going with Reggie Labrie. Look, Arteta's done well to get Arsenal into top of the league, but this is where they're expected to be. This is where they should be. Reggie Labrie has completely exceeded the expectations. A lot of people, including me, had Sunderland to go down at the start of this season. How wrong have they proven us? Oh, and it's great to see seeing Sunderland doing so well, as it's great for the league to be so much more competitive. Let me know your thoughts on this team this season so far. What changes would you make? And if you enjoy this, it'd be great to subscribe to the channel as well as liking the video.